Good evening to Alameda County's Giving Back program. This evening, we are truly, truly blessed to have someone who I've known for many, many, many years who has given back to our community.
Yes.
Has given back profoundly in every aspect and has made his life the dedication to you, his constituents. This evening, we're blessed to have Mr. Keith Carson, Board of Supervisor, member extraordinaire.
Right.
Good evening, sir.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Let's talk about how long we've known each other. It's all the way back to Merritt College.
Yes, sir.
And I've been out of college many years.
And yes, I was there my first year in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I saw Mr. Carson there, Keith.
Oh, yeah.
And it was truly, he made me feel comfortable as a young girl trying to get through whatever it was, because I had a difficult time at that time. So he helped me through it, and I thank you so much for that.
Well,
and
congratulations on, having a long-running program, Giving Back, and I think that that's a real appropriate title for people who do give back, because to whom much is given, much is required. And so it's important that we do that.
And this is Bonnie Lacey,
Bonnie.
who
How
has
are
been
you?
there.
Yes.
And you didn't say your name?
Oh, I didn't. Sandra Pitts Johnson. We are excited this evening to
Yes.
talk about Mr. Carson, Keith, and what he has done for the community. There has been years and years of dedication, and we'd like to find out from him his start and what gave his heart the twist to want to dedicate it to us, Alameda County constituents.
Well, I actually was very fortunate because I was born in Berkeley. We happened to be filming here in Berkeley.
Yes.
And born at a time in which there was a lot going on, just like today, around the country. It was really at the time of the Civil Rights Movement.
Yes.
And for a young person to kind of grow up in that environment, there's just no way it couldn't touch you. And so when I say we were growing up in the Civil Rights Movement right here, normally people talk about the South, what goes on in the South.
What goes on
but
in
right
Berkeley.
here in downtown Berkeley at Mel's Drive-In, they wouldn't hire blacks.
Nope.
At the Elegant Farmer, which was in Jack London Square just before Scott's was there, they wouldn't hire African Americans and other people of color to work there.
That's
the
right.
Oakland Tribune also had, just wouldn't do it. And the same thing with realtors who sold homes and rented out houses. They really segregated against African Americans and others right here where we live.
Right.
correct.
North
And
Oakland, Berkeley,
North
you
Oakland,
could not
Berkeley.
get in those areas.
Couldn't get in those areas. And so growing up, elementary school, high school, and eventually going to community college, Merritt, as well as UC Berkeley, you were really consumed in that environment.
Yes.
And very fortunate that I had the opportunity to see Martin Luther King speak at UC Berkeley at a rally, but also a little bit more intimately, he spoke at the church I still attend, which is Progressive Missionary Baptist Church on 3301 King Street, and spoke during that time. So all of that, growing up in that environment, really said, this is what the world is about, and you got to do something to make a difference.
Yes.
Yes. And in doing that and knowing that you have progressed from a young person being involved, where do you see the city of Oakland, Alameda County, all over, Berkeley, all of us, where do you see us going forward? As on the Board of Supervisors, you do see where I believe the planning is going. Where is it that we as a county are progressing to?
Well, let me put it, if I can, in a context. Alameda County, because a lot of people don't really know what county government honestly does.
That's correct.
And that's not just here, that's all over the country. County government, there's the federal government, most people know about that. There's the state government, many people know about that.
Right.
And then they know about city government because they read and they hear about their city council and their mayors, but they don't know about this mysterious level of government, which is county government.
Yes.
We are a regional body, if you will. And here in Alameda County, we have over 804 square miles. We have 1,500,000 individuals
Okay.
that make up Alameda County.
And what are some of the cities?
The cities are Albany, Berkeley, Piedmont, Emeryville, Oakland, Hayward, Union City, Fremont, Castro Valley, Dublin, Livermore, 14 cities,
Yes.
and unincorporated
Areas, yes.
which is the Eden area and others, which unincorporated means they really don't have a government. They don't have a mayor, they don't have a city council, and so we kind of act as that arm of government.
Okay,
County government is called the safety net in government.
okay.
It means that if you have no place to go to live, you're homeless, county oversees that. If, in fact, you have no health coverage, and now these days, under the Obama administration, you have to have some form of health coverage.
Yeah, that's,
But the infrastructure for that is really county government. The community clinics, West Oakland Health Center, the
and
over
they
60.
used to have Medi-Cal
All of
within
that.
social services.
Absolutely. Social services is a part of it, which includes in-home health care, it includes foster care, it includes all of those
Food
things.
stamps.
Food stamps. You're a part of county
That's
government, so
right.
you
Yes,
know.
we know.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then we have public works, so
Yes.
the roads and lighting and all of that, you got to take care of that. And then we have law enforcement, which means not only do we have the sheriff's office or the probation department, which includes juvenile hall and Camp Sweeney, but we also have Santa Rita Jail, North County Jail, that comes under the auspices of the sheriff. So
Okay.
you have the sheriff, the district attorney, the public defender, and the probation department,
Right,
which makes up public
Policy.
safety.
yes.
And they operate kind of as a unit, because if you commit a crime, there's an arresting agency, might be the city police.
Police
But then
or
you're
the
turned
sheriff.
over to either juvenile hall, or you're turned over to the sheriff to go out to Santa Rita or North County. Then you wind up in the court system.
Yes.
And if you don't have an attorney, you can't afford an attorney, then the public defender, who is a good attorney. Public defender is a
Very
great attorney.
good, very good.
Not unlike when you find yourself injured in a car accident, or unfortunately a part of a gun episode, and you wind up at Highland Hospital, which is now called the Alameda County Medical Center, because it's broader
Really
than
good,
Highland.
yes.
It's bigger
Yes,
than Highland.
yes.
Yes.
You want to go there because they have the best
best.
physicians in
Best.
all of
In all of the country.
Everywhere.
Teaching,
In the
and you
Everywhere.
have the best physicians, the best teachers there
There
too.
you go. And it's the
The
same
best.
thing in terms of public defenders and law enforcement. So so that kind of makes up county government. $2.8 billion a year operation, 9,600 employees that work there to provide all of those services. Death certificate, marriage certificates. Matter of fact, this coming week, I have the opportunity to to perform the wedding ceremony for a person who used to work in our
You,
office.
you
Oh,
can
that is so
perform,
wonderful.
you can perform marriages?
I'm
Oh,
a
wonderful.
licensed by the state of California. I'm not a minister, but
Yeah.
I'm licensed by the state of California. And this will probably be, I don't know how many opportunities I've had an opportunity to do weddings. Almost every Valentine's Day, volunteer to do
Oh, that
weddings,
is
and
so
people line up
wonderful.
all day long to get married. But I've
Yes.
had the opportunity
That's
to
wonderful.
even marry my son. To
Nice.
perform the
Nice.
ceremony over for my
Nice.
son, and
Nice,
that was
nice,
so
nice.
emotional for my wife and
bet
I
you,
to
yes.
have that opportunity to do that. So that really makes up county government, and it's a giving back government, just
Yes,
like
it
the name
is.
of this show, because you give back to people who are in need, and
Yes.
you help people who are in need.
Yes, the social services, people don't want to take advantage of that organization, but they do a lot of good things. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
the financial part, the food stamp, the Medi-Cal, the in-home, all of it's great.
Oh yeah.
And in giving back, when you made the decision that you wanted to get in government, where did you start? What progressed you to where you are, of course, but where did you start?
Well, I actually started as a result of being affected by all the things that were going on around me. Being a student at Merritt College around the time that John F. Kennedy had died, in which Robert Kennedy had been assassinated, in which Martin Luther King had been assassinated,
All in
and Malcolm X
1960,
had been
yeah.
assassinated, a number of other people. There was a lot of energy, not unlike today,
Yeah.
in terms of people rallying in the streets and demonstrating in the streets for improved conditions for people, African Americans, but also people of color, and people who were disadvantaged,
Yes.
people who were physically disadvantaged,
Yes.
women who were disadvantaged, veterans who had
Yeah.
served this country and came back and were disadvantaged. And so there was a young man who was running for Congress, Ron Dellums,
Yeah.
who kind of touched everybody.
Yes.
He
he did.
kind of
Yes, he
had the
did.
ability to rally people and speak
push
on
you.
our behalf.
That's what he did.
And so I volunteered in his campaign for a while, and then I volunteered for the mayor of the city of Berkeley at that time in his office, because they wouldn't hire me because I didn't have any experience, right? But I volunteered. Warren Widener was the mayor at that time in the
Yeah.
city of Berkeley. And after volunteering for a number of years, I was approached to work in Ron Dellums' office. And so for 15 years, I had the ability to work in the office of Congressman Dellums, both here in Oakland, in his district office, and in Washington, D.C. And so I had a chance to kind of travel and experience the country, travel and understand how laws were made and how our government works.
And in
Pretty
doing
good.
that and progressing there, what was your experience in Washington compared, and not necessarily compared, but your learning and growth? Where did you make the decision that you knew you had to come back and make a difference here?
Well, you know, I knew that I wanted to give back. I always knew I wanted to give back. But also working for an elected official, several elected officials, I saw how grueling their days were, how challenging their days were.
And it just doesn't stop at 5 o'clock.
Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. I started at 8 in the morning, and I didn't get back home until almost 8:45. I went to like 7 different events.
Oh, yeah, and
yesterday.
they want you to come. You can't say,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I don't feel like it.
And they
You
were
need
all
to
good
come.
events.
Yes.
From Piedmont to Berkeley to Oakland. They were great events, and there was great turnout in
Yeah.
each of them. So I knew I wanted to give back, but not necessarily as an elected official. And what unfortunately happened is John George, who was a person that preceded.
I remember John
John
George.
George was in office,
Right.
and he was almost like a Ron Dellums, but on a local level, and people
Very
loved
strong.
him and
Yes,
always asked him for
yes.
stuff, and very strong for the people.
Yep.
He died in office of a heart attack.
Yes.
And the community came together and rallied together, and they advanced names that they suggested that the Board of Supervisors who had the ability to appoint the successor would pick. And even though I was working in Ron's office in Washington at that time, my name was advanced. And I came back here and said, I did not want to do it because I knew how hard it was. I wanted to work in the trenches, but I didn't want to be out in the front.
But we were diligent.
Well, and actually Warren Widener was selected. And then the second time when he ran for re-election, I ran and lost by 24 votes. And then the third time I ran and I won. And let me say that it's been an ongoing learning experience each and every day. And the rewards are just knowing that you have the ability to try to help someone. It's a challenge every day, but the ability to try to work with others to provide services, because no one can do it alone. No one person is
you
an
all
island.
need help. But you know what? I want to stop you, and we needed to find out about you, where your parents, the school you went to, more about him.
So I was born in Berkeley, California, at Herrick Hospital, and raised in South Berkeley. Went to the elementary schools in South Berkeley. Went to Willard Junior High School at that time, which is still up on Telegraph. And then coming out of Berkeley High, which I attended Berkeley High, I attended Merritt College, which was on Grove Street
Grove
at that
Street,
time,
yeah.
which is
59.
now
Martin
Martin
Luther
Luther King.
Yep.
And matter of fact, lucky enough to be there when the Black Panther Party was
Right,
up and
right.
operating
And Huey was
and
sitting
running,
next
and
to-
Huey was
yes,
there all
right
the
there.
time, and
Yeah.
Bobby was there, and everybody was there, but not only were they there, because there were people who supported the movement from so many places.
They all came there.
There was a lot of LA celebrities and actors and actresses who were always
there.
around Merritt College who supported the cause and the movement. But we had a chance to rub elbows with them because they were there planning the revolution, as they would say.
Yeah.
And so and I attend Progressive Missionary Baptist Church, and I have to say that because faith is very important to me.
Yes.
It's at the center
You
of
have to
everything.
have a foundation.
Oh yeah, and it is my foundation.
And
Yeah.
you have always made that your foundation.
And I know that I couldn't do anything without having that spiritual foundation and strength.
Yes.
My parents were from the South, both my mother and my father. My father is now deceased, and he's been deceased for a number of years. My mother's still alive, and she'll be 89 this year.
Nice.
And blessing that she's still healthy.
A blessing.
My father was a truck driver, and my mother worked for the Army base as a key punch person at that time. That was pre the day of the computers,
Yeah.
in which they had to punch the little holes out for the government, as opposed to using a computer. And neither one of them graduated from high school, and they were a part of the great migration of African Americans,
South.
of the
From the
6.5
South,
million African Americans that left the South beginning in 1915 till about 1970.
Yeah.
And we're part of that. I have two sisters, and my one sister lives in Contra Costa County, and another sister lives currently with my mother. I'm very fortunate to have an incredible wife who puts up with me, and I gotta always thank God that I've been blessed with an incredible wife.
Yeah.
And I have two grown children, and also three grandchildren
Nice.
that are basically grown, because two of the grandkids are 21 and 20, and then one's 9. And all of our kids live in the Bay Area, and I've been so blessed, and I know that I'm blessed, that I was blessed to have an incredible family that I was born into, and I have great in-laws. I get along real well with my wife's side of the family.
Are they? Is she from here as well?
My wife is not originally from here. She grew up in San Francisco. She was born in El Salvador. And for people who may know about the history of El Salvador is a country that at one point in time was really engaged in a lot of war and a lot of activity, and she kind of grew up in that environment, and at an early age kind of came to the country and grew up in San Francisco. So I've been very blessed that I have had a very loving family, but then my associates that I'm with on a daily basis also I'm just so
your
blessed to
family.
be in surrounded by individuals who tell me like it is.
That's right.
And keep it real.
And keep you in line.
And keep me in line. But I know that they love me and I love them.
And they protect you well.
And I try to do my best for them too.
They protect you well. They
Oh, yeah.
protect you definitely well.
Oh yeah.
We would like those feeling heart people who feel that they want to give back and would love to help you and talk to you about some of the things. Can you give them your information, please, and share how those of you out there who know about giving back? I know Mr. Carson has a real tight schedule most of the time, and like he says, his family protects him well. But maybe you could give a helping hand in something. Or if you have an event that you possibly would like to have Mr. Carson come to. He's really an open person and willing to do whatever's necessary for us. Could you give them and share your information,
Sure.
please?
Alameda County Board of Supervisors. We're located at 1221 Oak Street in room 537. And our phone number where you can contact us on any given day is 510-272-6695. That's 272-6695. And you can always go on the website for AlamidaCounty.gov and find us there, and also find out about a number of things that are going on that we're constantly doing to try to be out in the community. This year, we have a number of events that we are hosting that we hope will be of good benefit to the community. We have our, every 2 years, our caring and our aging event, and that's for individuals who are about to or currently taking care of someone who's aging, a senior, somebody, you know, a lot of times you don't know where to go to take care of a senior, and you don't know how to go through the steps of that.
Yeah.
If they have Alzheimer's or dementia, if they need medical assistance or long-term care, if in fact you have property and you got to figure out how to deal with the property, or they're still driving but they shouldn't be driving. So we have all-day workshops and that, and it's open to the public and it's free. We also are going to be declaring in a couple of weeks 2015 the year of the African American male, and that's going to be a big event. We're not just doing a proclamation saying this is the year of the African American male. We have assembled a directory of all the services that are provided to African American men, from fatherhood to reunification with family, to reentry, to education, to truancy, to all the challenges that unfortunately disproportionately a lot of African American males have in their health area. All of those kinds of things, to getting a job, to creating your own business. And we're going to have activities throughout the entire year, bringing that information, letting people know where they can go, and networking from the streets up.
That's
Because
good.
we're going to have street teams going out to the streets. You know, you both work with the probation department, and we've always in our office had individuals working in our office from probation all the time. We've had some that we've had great success with, and then unfortunately, like the real world, there's been at least two over the years since I've been there in which they succumbed to gun violence in the streets. Actually, one 2 years ago succumbed to gun violence in the street. They were great when they were in office, when they had things to do, because we have incredible young people of all ethnicities that just find themselves, unfortunately, going through the system. But a lot of them are so brilliant, they're so gifted, and all they need is just a chance, an opportunity. And so we try to make sure we open doors for people to give them that chance through our office. So again, 510-272-6695 is a way of connecting with our office. And we go out to schools on a regular basis. We're out at the institutions, San Quentin, Juvenile Hall, Santa Rita, on a regular basis, working with people who are on the inside to make sure that they make connections outside, because all people need is really a chance.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, if we say what county business is the business of caring.
Yes, it is.
That's exactly what we can say. Mr. Carson has always been open to giving and receiving of anything that has to do with people and making a difference in their lives. We're asking Bonnie and myself and the young people who are behind the cameras to please take an opportunity, if you can, to call his office and just see, and to go online and see all of the activities that the Board of Supervisors for Alameda County has to offer. Yes, C is for caring. C is what it is. And for Mr. Carson, C is for caring.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say to both you, Sandra and Bonnie, for having this program and utilizing the talent that is out at Juvenile Hall and Camp Sweeney, to know that, you know, you might have fallen down, but you can get up.
Yes.
And that there are opportunities that are out there. And again, like I said, a lot of the young people are brilliant. You know, I mean, if you think about it, some of them are running crews on the street and they're doing different things that are illegal. But if they were able to take that same brilliance and put it into a legitimate
run a
business,
business.
they could run a corporate business.
Yes.
And right now, we're offering our young people that are out there looking. And Mr. Carson has already said that it is an ability for you possibly to come into his office and maybe volunteer for now, and it could lead into possibly a job. Our guys who are out here on the cameras that are graduating today, I thank you for
Yes.
all your efforts. We're not right now able to say your names, but we know that you know you're out there. I am very proud of all of you. And at this point, I want you to understand that your life is ahead of you. Make a difference in yourself. Thank you so much for being the young people that you are, because we've had a great time. Keith, you have really made a difference in all the years that I've known you. I've watched it. I was a part of some of those little things that you were talking about.
Yes, you were.
Just
Yes,
to
you
make
were.
sure and
Yeah.
push
Yeah.
that you've always been the one that showed the care. You've always been the one who made the difference with a smile. I thank you.
Well, I really want to thank you both for having this show, and thank you for always being there. And let me say, no one person could do it. It takes a
Takes a
whole team to
village.
do it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that is how we're going to make progress. So
Yes, it
thank you
is.
for all that you do.
Thanks
I
for
really
coming.
appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
coming.
so much. And remember, everyone, we all are responsible to give back.
To give back.
Thank you.